Alright everyone, welcome back to Sabre Ranch. So the juniper berries are currently ripe. You can see there's a bunch of them falling off the tree. Little blueberries there. They're actually a type of pine cone, or well, not pine because this is a cedar, but they've been modified to resemble a berry. And I'm going to pick a bunch of them, throw them in my bucket. We're going to try to get them to sprout. I'm going to try to get berries off of multiple trees so I can get the best genetic diversity. The scientific name for this type of tree is Juniper osteosperma, which translates to juniper with the bone-hard seed. The seed needs to be softened up in order for the tree to sprout, which basically means something has to eat the seed. The cows go everywhere, and you can see they leave their cow pies everywhere. Even way up here in the hills. So, what if there were some seeds in their cow pies? They don't normally eat juniper berries, but it's not like it's going to hurt them. So, what if I mixed it in with their grain? They pretty much swallow it, so... That'll work. I'll probably end up eating some of the seeds myself, as well as doing some different chemical processes, soaking the seeds in sulfuric acid. As for stratification, it's probably about the same as what I did for the pine nuts and the Douglas fir that I sprouted last spring. So that means I'm going to be putting them into some bags with peat moss. Then I will store them in the fridge until spring. And as for those seeds that I sprouted, the Douglas fir and the pinyon pine, they've grown up to about a couple of inches tall at this point. Unfortunately, when I was taking them out of the containers, the soil mix that they're in would just crumble, and it basically got to the point where I decided to plant the trees as if they're bare root. Fortunately, this doesn't harm the tree very much. I think next year I'm actually going to intentionally produce bare root trees. You know, just have a sandbox with them growing in it. Anyway, I decided to give the seedlings the best chance I could, so I mixed up some soil for them using aged cow manure, biochar, the native soil, along with some bone meal and the mycorrhizal fungal inoculant. Then with my bucket of dirt and trees, I went up into the canyon with a cordless drill and a bulb planter bit. The idea here is to drill down so as to not compact the soil and get the roots down as deep as possible so they don't freeze during the winter. When I was backfilling the hole with the soil mixture, I would add a little bit of water to take up any air spaces so as the tree's roots don't dry out. Just in case the soil additions turn out to be a bad idea, I also planted a bunch of trees using a dibble bar, which is the same method that large-scale planting operations use. However, I find it only works when there's not very many rocks in the soil. I also planted a bunch of box elder trees, which are a native deciduous. The cows do like to eat those a lot more, so I'm having to fence all of them. If you watched the previous video in this series, you'll know that the Douglas firs I planted last year did not survive due to them not being the right type, and I strongly suspect the roots froze because I didn't get them buried very deep. So hopefully I fixed those problems now. A lot of people wanted an update on the seed balls that I threw around that contain tree seeds. I forgot to mention that in the last video. But I did look around to see if I could find any that had sprouted. I looked again today when I was planting more trees, and I haven't been able to find any that have done that. It doesn't mean they're not there. I'm actually thinking that maybe what happened is since I threw them out in the spring, the seeds didn't have a long enough period to cold stratify, so they might not sprout until next spring. Or they have sprouted and they're just spread out so far and they're hidden in the bushes so much that I wasn't able to see them. Maybe when they've grown up a little bit, huh? Anyway, there's an update on my own tree planting endeavors, and you might have noticed this shirt, and you've probably seen other YouTubers' videos by now that we're getting together to plant a whole lot of trees. It's a little thing started by Mr. Beast. And I figured I'd get in on it. And what I like about getting everyone together like this is when you pool resources and do it on a larger scale, planting the trees becomes a lot cheaper. It's kind of like how you can go to the store and buy a chicken for $5 and the store selling it and the farmer are making money. Whereas if you try to grow the chicken on your own, it's going to cost way more. It's just an economy of scale. So if you want to help out and plant the maximum number of trees, I'll put a link down in the description to the campaign where you can donate. Or you can go plant trees on your own. That's cool too. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you next time. I was unloading the grain from the back of the car here. Hey guys, what are you doing? Mia, give it to the cows.